How's it, everyone? Welcome to another string review right here on OpenCourt. I'm Kent, and today I'm testing out another Luxilon string. This is another string in Luxilon's new Eco lineup, and they've been pumping these out pretty quickly. This is their third iteration. So today we're taking a look at the Luxilon Eco Spin. Let's check it out. So the Luxilon Eco Spin is Luxilon's third eco string behind the power and the rough. This is a pentagonally shaped string, so just like the name suggests, it's supposed to grip the ball and impart good spin potential, which the Luxilon Eco Power, the original one, was hexagonal, so I assume that one was also supposed to be spin friendly. So I don't know why Luxilon came out with another one. This one is pentagonal and it's been named the Spin, so I hope this gets more spin than the original. Not that the original power was bad, but if they're going to release another similar string and call it Spin, I expect the spin potential to be a little better. This string, just like the other eco strings, are made out of 100% recycled material. It's mostly made up of recycled plastic PET bottles, and the packaging is also recyclable, and the whole thing is biodegradable. So I really appreciate Luxilon trying to be more eco-friendly and conscious towards the environment, because tennis players provide a lot of waste because we cut out strings, we use the packaging, the balls. I'm pretty guilty of that because I like using fresh balls every time and I like using fresh strings, so I cut out strings basically once a month. Now I just released my review of the Restring Sync string, and they're also doing a similar eco-friendly initiative to keep the packaging eco-friendly. This is a direct competitor, I guess you can say, to the Restring strings, and to be honest, the Restring Zero and the Sync that I just reviewed play way better than the Luxilon Eco Power and the Rough strings. Do I feel like this is going to play better? Probably not, because according to Luxilon, the material is basically the same. The original Power and the Rough had kind of a plasticky feel to it, but I still expect this to play decent enough. But as of right now, Restring has one up on Luxilon. So with this Eco Rough, there's only one gauge, 125 gauge, and it's in this black color, and it's about $14 for a set. So I'm going to string this in my trusty Head Graphene 360 Speed Pro. I'm gonna go 53 mains and crosses, which is a little bit tighter than I usually string, because the Luxilon Eco Power and the Eco Rough both had kind of a springy response. I like it to be a little bit firmer, and I strung those at 52. So I'm gonna go a little bit tighter, especially in this 18-20 pattern. I want it to be a little bit firmer. So I'm gonna string it at 53 pounds and see how it plays. But before we get on the court and test out the new Eco Spin, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button if you like these videos to keep the reviews coming. So starting with the pros of the Luxilon Eco Spin. I'll say this right off the bat, this string is completely different from the first two eco strings Luxilon released. The Eco Power and Rough were both very springy and felt like cheap plastic toys, something you might find sitting on the shelves of Walmart if Walmart sold tennis strings. This Eco Spin feels like an actual tennis string. It is very firm, and that surprised the heck out of me. Because of my prior experiences with Luxilon's Eco line, I strung the Eco Spin stiffer than my previous playtests, and I'll admit, I would have strung it lower if I knew it would be this stiff. The Eco Spin gives a nice firm impact upon contact, and I never worried about losing control and sending my aggressive forehands flying long like I did with the Eco Power. Earlier in the video, I said I didn't understand why Luxilon released a pentagonal version of the Eco string since the Eco Power was already a hexagonal one. Now I get it. This is a completely different string and plays much more control-oriented. One of the issues I had with the previous eco strings is that because they were very springy in their response, they dropped tension noticeably quickly. If I used the Eco Power and Rough regularly, I would be cutting them out quite frequently, and that to me defeated the purpose of being eco-friendly. But with the new Eco Spin, the firm feel led to better tension maintenance. If I can use a string for longer, that leads to less waste, and that is a win. I like the Eco Spin most on my aggressive returns, approach shots, and just high-speed rallying in general. When I had the opportunity to swing out, that's when I was able to unlock the potential of the Eco Spin. This string reminds me a bit of Vocal Cyclone, Dunlop Explosive Spin, and Diadem Solstice Black. The string is very dead feeling, but that allowed me to swing mindlessly from the baseline. I tend to struggle a bit with approach shots because I get tentative when I have too much time to think and I sail the ball long. I'm not great at producing my own power. I like to redirect my opponent's power, but the Eco Spin kept my approach shots inside the baseline and I was able to aim for corners without losing my nerve. This string is called Eco Spin, so I was expecting some good spin potential. Thankfully, the Eco Spin delivered in spades. It gripped the ball well and snaps back really well. There doesn't seem to be much string movement, but still provides good grip and imparts spin with the best of them. I could really feel the spin on the kick serve. I noticed a sharp bite and diving action which I can't get with round strings. The high bounce did a good job of putting the returner on the defensive. I never really had to worry about the return putting me in a compromised position. I also noticed the spin potential on low topspin shots. When I was forced to hit down by my knees and swing up, the Eco Spin imparted good spin to the point where I saw the ball immediately dipping as soon as it crossed the net. I almost never feared hitting long with this string. That's about where the pros end because I ran into plenty of issues with this string. So let's get into those issues now with the cons. Although I typically like a firm feel, I only like it if it is accompanied by a lively response. The Eco Spin is a very dead string and has very little power potential. Anything hit outside the middle of the string bed would die and drop into the net. I don't have the longest reach, so it's hard for me to generate leverage, especially on my two-handed backhand. I dumped so many backhands into the net. Even when I really swung out, the Eco Spin at 53 pounds had a low launch angle, so I would clip the net cord. If I were to use this string again, I would string at 50 pounds to get a little more assistance with power. My flat and slice serves also suffered from the lack of power. The slice has the lowest trajectory, so without any assistance in power, I struggled to clear the net with my slice serve unless I really put my legs into it. My flat serves also found the net often, and even when they went in, they didn't really pack much punch. The lack of power did no services for my volleys either. I have a really compact swing on my volleys as I prioritize making contact in front of my body, so I don't really swing through. A lot of my volleys landed in the net unless I swung at them, which I'm not used to. My approach volleys and low volleys suffered since I really had to punch through to clear the net, and my net game is my strong area, but because of that, it's very hard to adjust my mechanics because they are ingrained into my muscle memory, so I had a hard time winning points at the net. For this playtest, I only played doubles, but I don't think this would be a good single string for me. Although I like to take aggressive swings, I still want some help from my strings in generating power. To that end, the Eco Spin has very little power and the sweet spot is tiny. Anything hit outside the sweet spot just dies. If I were to play singles with this, I would be dumping balls into the net when forced to hit from a defensive position. I predict playing defense with the Eco Spin would be a huge chore because I would really have to swing on everything just to get the ball to cross the net. Transitioning from defense to offense would be very hard. Maybe this string is more suited to the boom than the speed with its larger and more forgiving sweet spot. As I mentioned earlier, the Eco Spin is a very dead feeling string. Those who have been watching my channel for a while know that I like crisp and lively strings, so the Eco Spin is the exact opposite of what I like. I couldn't get a good feel for my touch shots like short angles, angle volleys, drop shots, and placement shots. I couldn't feel the impact on the strings well, and I didn't feel confident going for low percentage shots. I like the extra spin and control that the Eco Spin gave me compared to the Eco Power and Rough, but those strings came with a bit more of a livelier feel. Although I like the Eco Spin more overall, I wish the control and firm feel didn't come at the expense of touch. And lastly, the stiffness will probably bother some people. I like firm strings, but I will still mention this in the cons because I constantly get comments from people who want to know more about soft strings. I would not recommend the Eco Spin to those who have sensitive arms. The Eco Power and Rough are much more comfortable options. So with all that said, who is the Luxilon Eco Spin for? It's for players who like something stiff and dead like RPM Blast that will give them spin and control from the baseline. I don't recommend this string to those with arm issues or players who rely on a more finesse-oriented game or a serve and volley style. This was my favorite of the Luxilon Eco line so far, but that's saying more about the other strings than the Eco Spin because in the end, the Eco Spin is not something I would try again because it is too dead for me. So have you tried any of the Eco strings? Let me know which is your favorite Eco string from Luxilon and what you want from them if they are going to continue releasing more strings in the Eco line. I would love to see a more crisp and lively playing Eco string that also maintains tension well, just like this string.
Oh my God.
Thank you for watching this review of the Luxilon Eco Spin string right here on OpenCourt. If you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an OpenCourt.